climb.
Climbing, watching power.
This is the hardest part, is dividing your attention.
One of those things I'm trying to get better at as I fly is dividing my attention. Alright, I think I'm back down to 800 feet. I am, but I'm going to fall right through it if I'm not careful. Steepen my bank. Not going to cross this. I'm going to miss it. Yep, I'm not going to be wings level by the time I cross this road.
Our flight today is all about ground reference maneuvers, I think. That's the plan anyway. Looks like there's a little bit of wind, so that's good. That'll help us train. We just got to make sure we avoid that and any others that pop up, but here is our plane for today. Clear. So I really just want to get to the flying part, but learning can happen at all phases of flight, and I'm about to learn a lesson here. The airplane is about to do something that I am not expecting or prepared for. Take a look.
Look, you're rolling forward. Stop the aircraft.
Oh, I am. Whoa.
Never, ever trust the parking brake.
Lesson learned.
That's why I let it roll a little bit there, so I could show you that never trust the parking brake. Always keep your feet on the brakes when you start the engine, because it'll catch you off guard.
Sure enough. Wow, it sure did. All right. Okay, parking brake that we don't trust is now set. Door is closed and latched. Is your door good?
That is exactly true. Parking brake that we do not trust is set.
Right. Fuel selector valve. We're still on both. Elevator.
Okay, so today's ground reference maneuvers. The purpose of them is to teach the student to divide their attention between what's going on inside the airplane, what's going on outside the airplane, and what's going on with respect to landmarks or points on the ground or ground track. Okay, so the biggest correlation for us with ground reference maneuvers is the traffic pattern. So in this example of the rectangular course, we're going to find a nice big field. We can find the biggest field you want. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be the same size as a traffic pattern. It just needs to have four sides. The long sides need to be parallel to the wind flow so that we can demonstrate downwind and upwind legs.
Cool, so let's do the rectangular course first. And I want to use the entirety of the farm fields as our ground reference point for the rectangular course.
So like right down here?
So like right now you're at midfield, and like all the way over there by the pen legs, that's the start of the downwind, and all the way down to the end of the road down here is in the middle of the flooded farm fields is your base leg, and then on the other side of it, where not the C-54, but before that, and it ends down there at that lake over there. Yeah. That's going to be your upwind and your final right there. Okay.
Okay.
So we'll find a big field. We're coming 45 degrees, and we'll be headed downwind here with a nice tailwind.
All right. So what I want you to do is I want you to bracket out to the left.
Okay.
Make a nice turn out to the east into the upwind, and we know we're going to be entering on the downwind, so we're going to make a easterly turn, and then we're going to make a right turn and enter on a 45 degree to the downwind over where the south side of the street patterns and the farm field is, probably over by those silos.
Okay. I don't see the. Oh, I see the silos.
And we'll also use this as our clearing turn. So we've done a turn to the left. I've been looking outside. Yep. We'll make another one to the right here, and we'll.
Bird.
Oh yeah, I'll be watching for birds.
Okay.
Now, as you're doing this, I'll kind of show you where you're going and talk with you about your crab and your ground speed. We've got a ground speed reference here. So you see as you turn to the right, you gained about 3 knots, now 4 knots. Try to keep the power setting constant. Try to keep the indicator speed constant at 95.
There we go. All right.
Up a little bit. Don't descend. You're descending quite a bit.
Yes, I am.
All right. So this whole big long thingy here, that'll be our downwind. So we'll turn on that.
Okay. Turning into downwind now. A little bit of rudder in there.
Not too much rudder.
Not too much rudder.
All right, and where that road crosses the canal, that'll be your base. It's a big, long road. That's,
I see it.
That's also a good one we use for S-turns later.
Okay.
I like using that.
Alright, we're getting blown a little bit because the wind out of Melbourne is at a 120, so it's a little bit out of the south, so I need a slight crab here just to stay on course, I think. But I felt like if I was pointing the nose straight down the canal here, it was not quite.
Yeah, could be a little bit out of the south, the east,
Just
southeast.
a little bit. Okay,
Right.
so this turn here is going to be the sharper of the turns?
No, it's going to be the earlier of the turns because you don't want to blow through base because you have a high ground speed.
So we're going to have a nice big tailwind as we join our downwind, like we're flying a traffic pattern, which means we're going to have to lead the turn a little bit earlier than we normally turn if we had no wind, where we just roll 30 degrees of bank and roll right into it. We'd have to not only lead the turn, but we'd have to turn through the base heading that we would typically parallel the base and set a crab.
Right.
So then we'd fly down the base with a little bit of the flight path of the longitudinal axis of the aircraft pointed into the wind.
So you'll start this turn a little bit early. So kind of judge the turn to turn at the time that will line you right up with base leg on this road when you roll out.
Alright, here we go. I think now.
30 degrees of bank and pull back on the stick. Make sure you maintain that 800 feet.
A little early on the turn, but the wind's going to blow us over this, so I'm going to need to turn a little bit beyond the due south heading anyway.
Correct. Maintain that 800 feet. Divide your attention. One hand on the throttle. Oh, you got your carbine on for some reason.
Oh, because I was descending. There we go.
All right, now you should have the longitudinal axis of the aircraft should be pointed into where the wind's coming from.
Right.
And you should be crabbing down this road.
Right, yep.
We're just kind of learning a little bit about crabbing.
Let me get this altitude back.
Don't be crabby unless you have a lot of wind. That's not a really funny joke, but
All right, I think you got the idea with the rectangular pattern. Let's move on to turns around a point.
all right, you ready to learn some turns around a point?
Yes.
Let's do it. Okay, have the aircraft?
Your aircraft?
My aircraft. Nice, good trim. Very nice.
The first real ground reference maneuver that we're going to be doing is turns around a point.
All right, I'm going to find a nice point, and then we're going to do some turns around a point.
Turns around a point is we're going to be figuring out where the wind is. We'll pick a prominent point. Most likely, and very luckily, because we are in Florida, we'll pick an intersection.
I'm going to use that intersection by the power line.
Okay.
But the power lines are an obstacle, but they have places to land that aren't as near the power line, so I'm good.
We'll start on the downwind, and we'll head towards our point. We'll want to set a distance at 800 feet that will allow us to roll into no more than 30 degrees of bank right at the time that we pass a beam or point that we're turning to, right? Okay. This is going to be the highest ground speed, so we'll use the steepest bank.
All right, so I'm going to roll in. I'm on a downwind now. All right, I'm going to establish.
You going to this intersection right
big
here?
intersection, yep.
Okay.
The one that's very prominent and clear.
Got it?
Okay. All right, I'm going to roll into 30 degrees of bank. I'm looking at my point. My eyes are where your eyes are right now.
Okay.
All right, I'm at 30 degrees of bank, 95 knots, and I'm just going to keep that wingtip on that point. Okay. We'll hold that 30 degrees all the way around. Keep it pretty well. Whoa, little gust.
We'll keep the wingtip on the point as we go around, maintaining the same distance. When we get to this little black line here, which is 90 degrees worth of turn, we're going to start shallowing the bank. Maybe only 10 degrees by the time we're at the shallowest bank point, which is into the upwind. It may be very small, but we're just going to kind of try to maintain the same distance from the center.
Give it the same point. All right, now I'm starting to shallow my bank.
Yep.
I'm at like 25 degrees.
I feel that.
As I go into the wind, my ground speed, look at my ground speed decreasing on the GPS.
Yep.
All right, I'm shallowing my bank. I'm keeping that point right on the wingtip. I'm keeping my altitude. I'm really shallow now, like 15 degrees of bank.
All right, so as we go around the turn. We're gonna get 90 degrees perpendicular to the wind direction, and then we'll start steepening the bank again until we end up at the steepest bank again at the downwind point where the ground speed is the highest.
So steepen it up and then shallow it again, catch it back again. All right. Now, as I turn here, my ground speed's increasing. I'm at 103, 104. I can go up to 30 degrees. All right, I'm at my max bank now. Holding my max bank around. Look, it's right on the wingtip. All right?
Right.
So the max bank all the way around.
Charlie South.
Going right into the next one. Still on the wingtip. Still maintaining my altitude, dividing my attention. Maintaining my airspeed, 95 knots, and it's getting in front of me a little bit, so I'll shallow that bank and tighten it again. Shallow, tight, shallow. But if you don't start shallowing here at the 90-degree point to the entry, you'll end up getting close and you won't be able to get through the steeper part of the turn.
We are 1 mile north of the Sebastian in at 2,500 feet, heading southbound. We're going to do the pulse, so upper south.
And it's like I've got a pencil attached to the bottom of the aircraft with a string, and I'm drawing a line. I'm drawing a circle.
It's a perfect circle.
All the way around. All right.
Highest ground speed, lowest ground speed, most bank, shallowest bank, same distance around. And if the point gets in front of you, steepen the bank. If the point gets behind you, shallow the bank. Kind of be looking at the left side. You're going to do 90% off to the left side, 10% at the altimeter and the airspeed indicator. Okay, as we're coming around. We're going to make 2 turns, and then we're going to exit on the same heading that we entered on the downwind. Okay?
Let's always traffic sky over the silos and the farm field, so we're doing ground wrap, 800 feet. All right, I'm getting a little low. I'll just add a pinch of power as I'm on my speed. Just a pinch, pitchy like a crab, pitchy the crab's power setting. Make a sticker that says that. Pitchy the crab likes power. Don't record any of this audio.
Oh, I'm recording all of it. I want to use it all too.
All right, and then on the second turn, exit the maneuver.
Sweet.
All right, you have the aircraft?
I have the aircraft.
All right, now set me back up for the same thing.
Okay. All right, we're at 800 feet. There, we're on a westbound heading here. And we have our point here. Doing 116 knots over the ground. And we're going to bank in at 30 degrees of bank. There we go.
Just a little early. I'm going to roll out so that wingtip hits your point. All right, shallow it out just a second to get the get back on the wingtip.
Okay. There we go. Alright, live speed, 95 knots. We're approaching our shallowest part of the turn. About 15 degrees.
Oh, watch your power. A little too much power in there, or you're descending.
Or descending is what it is.
Charlie South traffic, flight 445 is going to be descending down for ground reference maneuvers on the eastern edge of the man-made lakes. Charlie South.
Watching that wingtip, making sure we maintain altitude, steepening the bank.
To Aqua South for maneuvers. That's all.
Okay, we're 20 degrees, coming up to 30. There we go. We're climbing a little bit, so we're going to let that fall back down a little bit. Shallow the bank. Shallower and shallower and shallower. A little bit of power out. Wind's starting to get ahead of us, so let's shallow it out, let it catch back up.
Hotel West traffic, sky over the farm fields, 800 feet ground rep, Hotel West. Getting a little wider than you want to be.
But if I turn sharper, then what happens? I'll end up with a point in front of me, right? So how come that's happening?
Because it all derives from when you started a little bit early and kind of made it a little bit oblong. So go ahead and level the wings out now. Let it catch up.
And back into it?
Yeah. So you shallowed a little bit early also on that beginning of the second turn.
Okay.
And that caused you to get pushed out a little bit.
Okay.
So don't wait until the 90 to start shallowing.
Okay.
And like by the time you hit the 90 here,
I should be back at 30 degrees.
Exactly. It's this whole 180 degree portion of the turn really should be at right at 180 degrees.
30 degrees.
30 degrees of bank for that 180 degrees is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
All right, when you come out, I want you to continue straight ahead on the exit here on the second turn. And then I want you to roll right into the next one at the last intersection on the row.
As always, Derek demonstrates our maneuvers once, and then I perform them twice. I think you got the idea with the turns around a point, so let's move on to S-turns across a road.
S-turns across a road, people think it's a little more challenging. I think it's way more fun and less challenging because you're trying to get the wings level each time you cross the road in both directions. So it adds a right-hand turn to it, but it's essentially like if you took this turn around a point and went and split it,
Right.
you know, or wait, like this,
Right.
and then put it right here.
Right.
That's exactly what you're looking at. It's the same thing. It's a turn around a point where just halfway through you turn the other way.
Right.
All right, so S turns across the road. Remember, it's a split in half, turn around a point.
Yep.
Just one turn, and we're gonna do left first, right second, and the wings are gonna cross level over the road each time we pass it. Gonna enter on downwind. I got my wind already picked out. I'm clearing my area right now. Pre-maneuvers complete. Hotel West traffic got a sky over the flooded farm fields, 800 feet, ground rep, Hotel West.
So we're gonna pick a next.
You're gonna start downwind, and then immediately go into that steepest part of the bank as you cross your road. So you're going to be at 30 degrees, and then as you come to 90 degrees,
all the way around,
you're going to begin to shallow, and so you're going to go through a very shallow transition, slow transition from here.
And these
wings
points,
level,
wings level across the road,
and then you're going to be back
shallow
to steeper, steepest point
and
here.
Right here, when you roll out, it's going to be like you're going to have to snap it out. All right, and then you exit on the downwind.
Okay, so here's our road. I'm perpendicular to it. I'm moving pretty quick. I'm doing 110, so I got to be ready to roll right in at 30. Now my trick here is to pick an imaginary point on the road that I'm going to half turn around a point around. So 30 degrees of bank, roll in, hold it. I got that little cove right there. I'm using that little cove as my point.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to go around. I'm going around. I'm going around. I'm coordinated. Man, I'm really getting blown around here. I'm starting to shallow it. Really just slightly shallowing it. I'm at 25 degrees of bank right now. Not really able to shallow it much more. I'm aiming for wings level across the road. I'm starting to move my head around. All right, I'm coming to wings level, turn into the right, maintain my altitude. All right, about 15 degrees. I'm gonna go upwind a little bit. I've got my point. I can't describe it. It's kind of weird. And I'm maintaining just a little low altitude here. I'm going to go to 30 degrees of bank. I need a little bit of power. I lost some energy during that maneuver. Lost about 50 feet. And crossing wings level over the road. Exiting maneuver. It's that simple. Alright, I'll reestablish yourself at 800 feet, turn right to about a 045 and take me back up, start it on that road again.
I have the aircraft.
You have the aircraft. Alright, here we go.
Alright, wings level, perpendicular 800 feet, power set 95 knots, and 110, 111 knots over the ground, rolling in. Here we go, 30 degrees.
A little bit of pedal as you come in.
Yep, and I got my spot on the ground, I'm checking. Making sure a little bit of pull here.
Alpha South Surface, flight 206 is 4 miles south.
Okay, I begin to shallow it out a little bit here so I don't get ahead of my point.
Maneuvering lazy.
Starting to lose a little bit here. I'll keep pulling. Definitely losing some altitude here. Let's keep it up.
Don't let that affect your ground speed.
Starting to shallow it out here, and we're gonna go wings level at the road and look to the other side.
Nice shallow turn at first.
Yeah.
Fly upwind a little bit. Don't climb.
Climbing, watching power.
This is the hardest part, is dividing your attention.
One of those things I'm trying to get better at as I fly is dividing my attention. Alright, I think I'm back down to 800 feet. I am, but I'm going to fall right through it if I'm not careful. Steepen my bank. Not going to cross this. I'm going to miss it. Yep. I'm not going to be wings level by the time I cross this road.
And why do you think that is?
Good question.
You didn't fly upwind long enough.
Okay, I banked in too fast?
Yep. Alright, make a right turn. Let's do it again.
Okay.
Let's get at least one more time before the...
Alright, that'll just about wrap it up for this episode of Flight Review. We did cover a couple of other things in the lesson, like a few minutes of under the hood work with some slow flight and a few more landings, which, you know, I suck at those, but I'll figure them out. Editing, as always, removes context, and so please remember this is just a documentary of my flight training experience, and nothing that you see here should be considered flight training for you. Please open a dialogue with your own flight instructor to cover the things that you've seen. Thanks so much for watching. We love having you guys as an audience. We're going to keep pumping these things out. We'll see you next time.